Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Meadsy69 and welcome back to channel. Today we have another top 5 video, and this is probably my favourite top 5 video that I've made because it is my top 5 most played tanks, and because of that it's took me back a few years. So you can see here the grill up the top, that is number 6. So coming in at number 5 with 1,110 battles is this tank right here, the STB1. And the main reason for me it's my favourite top 5 is because, as I've just said, it took me back quite a few years. Now, most of the tanks, and in fact probably all 5 tanks, are because of the old days of Blitz. So, and each of the top 5 have their own story for me. So the STB, many of my friends know that this was jinxed for me. This tank was absolutely jinxed. In fact, the reason I've played it so many times, or so much compared to all my other tanks, now, these are not, like 1,100 battles is not a great deal of battles. I mean, it's a lot, but I have over 50,000 battles, and my 5th most played tank is only 1,000. So, it's not because I love the tank. I mean, it's a good tank, don't get me wrong, it is a good tank. But back in the day, it used to be very good tank. It used to be with the DPM, with the gun depression, the view range, the speed, everything. Nice turret, you could bounce, you can use that gun depression and get the bounces. But the main reason I played this tank so many battles was because I just could not ace the damn thing. It took me over 850 battles to ace this tank. Kieran wanted to make a feature in this video, so you will hear him in the background. So most of my clan, even now, they annoy me with this tank, because they all know how long it took me to ace this tank. And nowadays, it will take me sort of between 10 and 20 battles to ace a tier 10 tank, and it did used to take me that to ace a tank, but this I just couldn't ace. 850 battles, and you can just see here I've got another ace, and that was just making this video. I managed to get the ace, so that is my number 5. So coming in at number 4 is the T54 at 1,124 battles. Now, the T54, again, I haven't really played the T54 in a few years. And the reason for that is because it's not the same tank as it once was. I mean, it's still a good tank. But back in the day, where like 4 or 5 years ago, this used to be one of the best tanks in the game. And it was so strong, and it was known as the Heat 54 because back then you haven't got much AP pen, but the heat pen is not bad. So in tier 10, you can just load up the heat straight away, and you're dealing the same damage as long as you had the credits, and it didn't really matter. Now, trying to get footage for this, and I don't know if it's just me or if it's just the luck of the draw, playing this T54 now to get the footage for this video, I had 8 battles. This is the 8th battle, and all 8 battles was tier 10. I was trying to play it because in tier 8, this tank is still absolutely amazing. Against tier 10, it's still a good tank, but you still need to use quite a bit of that heat. So I just couldn't get into a tier 8 game. So luckily I had this battle. I mean, it's not a great battle, it's Supremacy. We've caught C, and it's 5 against 4. We get a nice high roll into that VK72, and now we're just going to wait. We can see him looking at us. We're going to wait. There is only 3, and we know that the Foch is at the back because we took one from him earlier, and that is now where the back chat is, who I must say is not the best player in the world, but he actually does a fantastic battle. Now I have the heat loaded, but I actually forgot to switch to the AP. But the back chat clears the Foch, and we can see that the VK has just taken a shot. So we are going to now rush into him, and you can just see that is the AP pen. You're not getting through hardly anything with that AP pen. So we take out the VK, and it just now leaves the E100. We managed to shoot his gun, but we are going to get the kill shot. And we finish that battle with 4 kills. We get 3,200 damage. We get an ace, and there we go. The back chat as well also gets an ace. So fair play to that back chat. For a 48% player, he did actually a great job. So that is the T54 and number 4 on my most played tanks. And considering I haven't played in a few years and I now own over 360 tanks, that's you can just see how much I spammed that back in the day. Coming in at number 3 is the Luchs. Now the Luchs, most of you newbies or most of you newcomers or newer players will never understand how good of a tank this was. It is a tier 4 German light tank, and just think Kenny Otsu in tier 3. This is a tier 4, and you can see now it's an auto loader, but it only has 2 shells. Back in the day, this had 5 shells. 5 shells, and it was completely OP. If you all think that the Kenny Otsu is OP, this was insane. And when I first started Blitz, or after a few thousand battles, when I realised that there was stats, and I realised I was a noob on 48% win rate, this tank then got added to the game. Along with the tier 5 Leopard, which again was a great tank. But this was just the tank that we would play. We would play nothing but the Luchs. And the reason for that is because I was in a clan called Alpha Wolves, and pretty much all we played was the Luchs. We would tune in them. Double Luchs was literally, you couldn't lose. You couldn't lose. Now, I've had 1,400 battles in this. It's my 3rd most played tank. I haven't played the tank for about coming on 3 years maybe. So that just goes to show how much I spammed this tank back in the day. So 1,400 battles, 84% win rate in them 1,400 battles. You could go 20 to 30 back-to-back wins in this tank back in the day. And it was absolutely amazing fun. So that is my number 3, the Luchs. And none of you players who haven't been around for that long will ever understand how good the Luchs was. So coming in at number 2 with 1,435 battles. Now, this beats the Luchs. I made this beat the Luchs on battles. It's like it has 4 battles more than the Luchs. But the Luchs was higher than this, but I actually went to play this so it's higher than the Luchs, because having 50,000 battles and having a tier 4 as one of your most played tanks was kind of embarrassing, now especially. So I went to play this for a few battles. Now we are... So the Defender, again, back in the day when the Defender was added, it was insane. When it first added, and it was an event tank, they said, here's an IS-3 with an autoloader. So we're going to watch Sevic in his Defender, as I didn't really have time to go and play it. I've got a few other battles, which is fine, and I had this replay, so I thought I'd decide to use this. So when the Defender was first added, and as I've said, it was an autoloader, and people were just going crazy, like, oh my god, pay to win, it's broke. And it was a great tank. It was a fantastic tank. But now it's not. I don't think it's a great tank. And the reason for that is, I think, because of the matchmaker. And what I mean by that is, when this first came out, there was +2, -2. So against tier 6s, a Defender platoon was crazy, absolutely insane. And even back in the day, you could hold your own in tier 10 in this thing when there's 2 of you, because you can just switch to Pramo, and you could do the same damage, and you've got an autoloader. So with 2 of you, you've got 6 shells between you, and it used to be so much great fun. And when it first came out, I just literally absolutely spammed it. We was winning in a platoon, winning, earning credits, and it was actually amazing fun. But again, just like the T-54 and the Luchs, I never play this tank no more. I actually hate the tank. I think the pen is shit, the accuracy is shit, and I really don't like it. And you can't bounce half as many as you could back in the day. But that I respect that, because people change, people learn weak spots, and it's just the same as new tanks. When new tanks come in, like the Object 252U, people think it's OP because they can't pen it. But as soon as they realise how to pen it, then it becomes a lot easier. So that is the IS-3 Defender on my number 2 most played tanks in the game. So that just leaves number 1. So we've got STB-5, T-54, the Luchs 3, IS-3 Defender number 2, and coming in at number 1 with 2,013 battles is the Death Star. Of course, it is the Death Star. Excuse me. So everyone knows the Death Star. It's now been nerfed, and it's not the same tank as it once was. But when I first got the Death Star, it was the go-to tank just to have a little bit of fun. Now, I've always said it wasn't OP. It's never been OP. And I still maintain that thought. That is my personal opinion. Obviously, people like Bushka don't think the tank should be in the game. But again, that's just personal opinion, and I respect that 100%. The reason why I don't think it's OP is because of that long reload. Yes, it can do big damage, but so can tanks like Jaegeroos and E3s, big tanks, grills. But this obviously can do sort of 16, 1700 damage on the HE. But the reason I said it wasn't OP because of that reload. As soon as you are spotted, then that could be game over for you. And I do believe it needed a nerf on the camo, because the camo was insane. I mean, one of my last battles in this tank, before it got nerfed, I actually did a video and I said, like, this is why it's getting nerfed. And it was dead rail. I was sat at the back. I'd done 6.9k damage, and I did not move. I did not move all battle, and I did not get spotted all battle. So that is why it needed a nerf. But to be honest, I just think they have nerfed it a little bit too much. I do think they've nerfed the camo a little bit too much. But I'm not going to complain about it. I just don't enjoy the tank no more. So over 2,000 battles. Yes, Kieran, he agrees. So over 2,000 battles I've had, but that will for sure now get beaten. I'm not sure what will beat it. Maybe the grill, because I love the grill. FV4005, again, I love that tank. The Leopard one, that might beat it. There are quite a few tanks that will probably end up beating this, but I still think for 50,000 battles, 2,000 battles in a single tank isn't actually a lot. But because I've owned so many tanks, it does feel like quite a lot. But we have people, I've seen people with 5 to 10,000. I mean, one person has 50,000 battles in one tank. That's just insane. That is insane. We're actually watching Endgame here, and he's platooning with BMart, and he's going to show you why this was my most played tank. So he's done 2,700 damage. It's now 4 against 4. His platoon mate is now dead. So it's 4 against 4. The IS-8 is a one-shot. Here comes the enemy Death Star. He's going to switch to the HE, and he's going to do a monster 1,400 damage to him. And that is the reason this is my most played tank. Because if you can just get 2 of them shots off in a single battle, you've done 3k damage. You've done your job, and it's just the feeling you get when you do 14 to 1500 damage, or even that with AP there, 1002 damage. He was full health, and he's gone. So he hasn't done a lot. Yes, Kieran, I agree. So he hasn't actually done a lot, but he's still on 4.8k damage. And goodbye, Leopard PTA. So 4.8, one shot later, he's on 6,000 damage. And there is just 2 tanks left, a full HP Mouse, and a Death Star that he got the 1400 damage to earlier. So he's on 400, so he can clear him with that AP, no problem whatsoever. So it's now 3 against 1. He's on 6.4k damage. The Mouse takes out the Motion, so it just leaves the Death Star and the Chieftain versus the Mouse. So the Mouse knows where the Death Star is, and in fact, it's actually not a bad situation for Endzone's team, because the Chieftain's coming from one side and he is coming from the other side, but the Mouse is actually coming towards him. And what he does here, instead of going face to face with the Mouse, he's just going to go in sideways, and he's going to make the Mouse, he's not spotted yet, and just because of that, he can have the HE loaded, and he can do 1300 damage. If he was going to come in frontally with him, he wouldn't have been able to do that. And because of that, he's now put him down to 1,000 hit points. He's on 7.7k damage. The Mouse is going to come round. The Chieftain shoots him once, and End Zone can take him out. So 4 kills, 8,300 damage. So that is the Death Star, guys. That is my top 5. I'd love to see what your top 5 most played tanks is. I'm Meadsyreplays. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will catch you all soon. Bye bye.